that Bill and Ted is now gracing our presence, I felt, why not go back in time and do a grudge match between Bill and Ted 1 versus Bill and Ted 2. In other words, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure versus Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Hello guys, welcome, or if you've already seen my channel before, again, yes, welcome back. I am the Philadelphia Whovian, and yes guys, we're doing a grudge match where we are doing the original movie versus the sequel. One of the few times where the sequel literally lived up to the first movie itself. So, get ready. Here we go, guys. Okay, so, if you have not seen Bill and Ted, I'm amazed you're even clicking on this video. Either way, if you have seen Bill and Ted, I'm going to give a brief synopsis as well as a cast list. Okay, so first let's begin with the cast before the synopsis happens. So first we'll start with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the first one in the journey, of course. So Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Who stars in it? First we have Keanu Reeves. There he is. Look how young he was. Look how young he was. Keanu Reeves playing Ted Theodore Logan. And then we've got Bill, played by, well, Alex Winter. And Bill's full name is actually Bill Preston Esquire. And together they make up the musical group called Wild Stallions. And they are the only ones in the band. Literally, guys, they have no drummer, no keyboarder, no anything. Just them on guitars, and by the way, they can't even play. And they're also high schoolers who are literally flunking their history class because, for lack of better terminology, yes, guys, they are airheads in San Dimas, California, in a high school where literally they are flunking so hard. I'm going to give you some examples. Okay, first, they believe that, well, Caesar is a really great salad dressing, that Napoleon is a short, dead dude, and Ted thinks that Joan of Arc is Noah's wife. Yeah, we don't get more airheady than that. But why are they important to the universe? I'll tell you why. It's because eventually they go on to become really talented musicians. And in the future, the distant future, their music is used to bring about peace and harmony all throughout the planet of Earth. So yes, they're very important to the future. So what happens? They need to literally ace this history exam to finish high school so they can go on and become the popular musicians that have shaped the future. But how can they do that if they're flunking? And that's where we get Rufus, played by a very talented actor, I believe, George Carlin. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But yes, George Carlin. He plays Rufus. And Rufus is the guy in the future who goes back in the past, and he gives them a time machine so they can go back even further into the past, and they can get historical characters, bring them to the present, and have a kick-ass history exam. And thus kickstarting Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And literally, it's Bill and Ted inside an American TARDIS. Yeah, I love that about this too, by the way. I mean, the movie and the writers make absolutely no pretense on the matter. Oh, by the way, the writers and the creator of the story and the characters and the writers, I believe, are Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon. Very good job, guys. And the music in both of them, both movies, was, I believe, I want to say it is David Newman, but I could be wrong. Either way, if it is David, very good job. Good job, David. Yeah, very good job indeed. It just occurred to me how I'm shaking my arms. Like, I feel like the way I'm doing something like that, like, I feel like I'm Kate Bush in her musical video, Wuthering Heights. And by the way, if you've not seen Kate Bush and you don't know who the heck I'm talking about, literally, go here on YouTube and look up Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights. It's a music video. One way or the other, it will blow your freaking mind. Okay, now back to the story. So, yes, Rufus, when I say American TARDIS, literally, if you've never heard of a TARDIS, I don't know why you haven't if you've watched my channel before, but a TARDIS is from the show Doctor Who. It is a phone box the Doctor travels around in through time and space, and it's bigger on the inside. Hence why I say American TARDIS, because literally, it's an American phone booth. That's how the guys get around. That's their time machine. It's an American phone booth. And I appreciate that. It's like, we're being blatant. We obviously got this idea from Doctor Who. We're not even going to sugarcoat it. We're going to make it very obvious that we got the idea from them by having them go around an American television phone booth instead of just a British one. Yay! And so, Bill and Ted go back in time, where they not only meet some very beautiful women. Oh, and by the way, there's also a consistent beautiful female in the first and second movie named Missy. She is a high schooler who graduated and married Bill's dad, who's a lot older than her. And Bill, it turns out, is secretly suffering from Napoleon, from an Oedipal complex. Because he secretly has a crush on his stepmother. Which is obvious because, you know, she's closer to his age than the dad's age. But well, there you go. Okay, so Bill and Ted go back in time, and first they get Billy the Kid. Yeah, Billy the Kid. They get Socrates. They also get, I believe, if I'm mistaken, Napoleon. They get Genghis Khan, Joan of Arc. They also get Freud. And I believe, unless I'm mistaken, they get Beethoven. I believe it's Beethoven. And they bring them all to San Dimas in the present, a.k.a. the 90s. And they lose Napoleon. But they find him again in a water park. And you get some fun little moments here and there where you got Billy the Kid and Socrates flirting with women. Then you get Freud trying to charm them by using his philosophy. Then you have Beethoven literally wowing everybody in the mall with his incredible musical skill. Then you've got Joan of Arc hijacking an exercise, you know those little exercise like meetings where women get together and they, you know, have a trainer and they'll exercise the music? Yeah, Joan of Arc totally hijacks that. And then, oh my god, how did I forget the one main important guy? Abraham Lincoln. Oh my god, well, I'm a terrible American. Whew, yeah, really terrible. Oh my god. Abraham Lincoln, he even has the best line at the very end of the history project, where he literally says at the end, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. Yes, Abraham Lincoln said that. And Genghis Khan, yeah, Genghis Khan does what Genghis Khan does when he gets to San Dimas. So long story short, they ace their history exam, they graduate out of high school, and now they can go on and become the popular musicians they once were, and they even got those historical, gorgeous babes they were flirting with when they went back to medieval times. Yeah. Yeah. All the while, Rufus, played by George Carlin, very talented actor in this movie. They're all very good. It's all about, are you willing to go into this movie with a sense of humor? If you are, it's great. If you're one of those serious types, oh god, why? Learn to laugh in life. So we now got the plot synopsis behind Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Now we get the plot synopsis to Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, where now we've gone global in an even bigger way. This is less of a timey-wimey story and more of a die and brought back to life story. That's literally what happens. It turns out we get, in this story, Joss Ackland is the bad guy who goes back in time and creates two bad robot versions of Bill and Ted to go back in time and kill the real Bill and Ted so their music does not come into the future and take over our planet, and so he can shape history in his own way. Yes, Joss Ackland, accomplished, loved, incredibly respected actor Joss Ackland comes into Bill and Ted. See? Don't be afraid to have a sense of humor. Don't be afraid, guys. It's great. As for the only good actor we get, I believe it was William Sadler who plays Death in this. And what happens is the evil robots of Bill and Ted do come back, ruin the band. Oh, and Pam Grier. Yes, sexy Pam Grier. She's in this. Sexy Pam Grier. Go, girl. Yeah, so the evil Bill and Ted come back in time, kill the real Bill and Ted. The real Bill and Ted die, and they wake up to seeing death behind them, the Grim Reaper. Again, played by William Sadler. Unless I'm wrong, it's not William Sadler, but if it is, very good actor. And then they actually end up accidentally going back into San Dimas, tricking Death by Melvining him. That means they give him a wedgie. And then they go to San Dimas as goes, find out that the fake Bill and Ted have trashed their apartment, have ruined their relationship with their girlfriends or their fiancés in this case, and are really there to destroy the band. Yeah, notorious stuff. They try to get into a seance that the Missy, Bill's stepmother is now Ted's stepmother because Missy divorced Bill's father and married Ted's father. Yeah, that happened. That really happened. And by the way, Ted and Bill, they've got parents in this, and it's really entertaining. They're entertaining characters, the parents. Okay, but they try to contact Missy during a seance, but she only sends them to hell. So they go into hell, and then Death finds them again and challenges them to a series of games. But Bill and Ted beat Death each time. Then they go to heaven, and they find a creature there named Creation, who literally, they all go back to Earth after they speak to God. Yeah, Bill and Ted speak to God in this. So they befriend the devil, or not the devil, they befriend Death, the Grim Reaper, and then they go and speak to God after, by the way, hijacking another person's clothes. Yeah, that's how they got into heaven, by hijacking another person's clothes. And they speak to God, and he suggested them Creation, this alien species who's very genius, and the alien and Bill and Ted and the Grim Reaper go down to Earth, create good robot versions of themselves that kill the evil version of themselves, save their girlfriends. Then Joss Ackland comes in, and they use timey-wimey elements to defeat Joss Ackland. Then they go back in time and learn to play instruments, then come back again into the present, where they perform at the Battle of the Bands to the song God Gave Rock and Roll to You, performed by Kiss. Yeah. And by the way, the Grim Reaper is in their band, and he's awesome. So, now you know the plot synopsis behind Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures versus Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Who shall win? This was a difficult thing for me. Why? Because this is a set of stories where both are actually very good in their own way. Again, it's all about what you're going for. If you're willing to go into this movie, or these set of movies, for what they are, you'll have a great time. It's very fun. You know, Bill and Ted are fun. Keanu and Alex did a great job playing them. Rufus was great. Death was great. Yes, Joss Ackland was great. The women, the actresses in this are great. The parents are great. The writing is fun. The music is wonderful. If you're willing to go into it with this perspective, you'll have a fun time. So, what would I choose? So, I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure for the timey-wimey element of it. This is very timey-wimey. And when it gets to the end, it gets even more timey-wimey than you could ever know. But this one has death. What will I choose? They're both, for what they are, to me, A-plus stories. A-plus stories. So, who do we choose? The timey-wimey story, which I have a guilty pleasure for, or the death and brought back to life and befriending the Grim Reaper? I don't know. I just don't know, but I must decide. I must decide. I must decide. Guys, okay, so what do I choose? Well, blatantly admit, I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure so much. I love the timey-wiminess of it. I love the whole concept. But I admit this sequel, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, might be my ultimate favorite just because it's got Death in it. And I liked Death. I thought he was a very entertaining character. That being said, this might be an unpopular opinion because it's all down to you. There's no right or wrong with this opinion. Bill and Ted 1 versus Bill and Ted 2. Whichever you decide, you are right. So guys, this is my declaration. This is my conclusion to my Grudge match. Bill and Ted 1, A- or A story. Bill and Ted 2, a little bit like an A+. Long story short, I love both. Just where I fell is where I fell. So guys, thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. And I'll see you again in the next video. Until that time, have a nice week, guys. Please have a nice, happy Friday. Bye, guys.